You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Let's have a look at today's finance. The CSX index is currently at 505.42 points, down 0.07 points or 0.14%. The daily exchange rate is 4,062 real to the US dollars. Now a look at what else is happening in finance around the world.
Stocks, oil slip as China data feed recession fears. Asian share markets stumbled on Monday and oil prices slid after shockingly weak data from China underlined the deep damage lockdowns are doing to the world's second largest economy. China's April retail sales plunged 11.1% on the year, almost twice the fall forecast, while industrial output dropped 2.9% when analysts looked for a slight increase. In Europe, Euro Stoxx 50 and FTSE futures both eased 0.3%. SP 500 stock futures lost early gains to drop 0.6%, while Nasdaq futures fell 0.5%. Both are far from last year's highs, with the SP having fallen for the 6 straight weeks. Chinese blue chips shed 0.8% in reaction, while commodity currencies took a knock led by the Australian dollar, which is often used as a liquid proxy for the yen. MSCI's broadcast index for Asian Pacific shares outside Japan lost early gains to stand flat, following a slide of 2.7% last week when it hit a 2-year low. Japan's Nikkei clung to gains of 0.5%, having lost 2.1% last week, even as the weak yen offered some support for exporters. Sky-high inflation and rising interest rates drove US consumer confidence sink to an 11-year low in early May and raised stakes for April retailing sales due on Tuesday. The pullback saw the dollar come off a 2-decade top through not much. The dollar index was last at 104.560 within a splitting distance of 105.0110 peak. The euro stood at $1.043, having got as low as 1.0348 last week. The dollar did not lose ground on the yen, which seemed to get a safe haven bid to the weak China data, slipping 129.2 yen. In cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin was last up 2% at 30,354, having touched its lowest since December 2020 last week following the collapse of Terra US, so-called stablecoin. The commodity market's gold was pressured by high yields and stock dollar and was last at 1,809 an ounce, having shed 3.8% last week. Oil prices revised course on the Chinese data rekindled worries about demand. Brent lost $2.31 to $109.24, while the US crude shred $2.14 to $108.35. Consumer inflated Russia accelerated in April to 17.83% to a year-on-year terms, its highest level since January 2002. Data showed on Friday as it got a boost from its volatile ruble and unpredictable Western sanctions that disturbed logistics chains. But monthly inflation slowed to 1.56% in April from 7.61% in March, when it staged the biggest month-to-month increase since January 1999. Data from the Federal Statistics Services rose that showed. That's the latest news on finance. Tune in tomorrow for more.